Hello, everyone, and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. Now, I have both good news and bad news when it comes to the unemployment benefits. Now, as you know, the unemployment benefits are going to be $300 a week, not $400 a week. And they do cut off at a certain point in time. I'll be giving you specific details. But some new news is emerging that there will be a section of individuals, a small section of individuals who receive unemployment benefits, who will stop receiving unemployment benefits for a short period of time. Now, some states have been struggling, and I'll give you the exact details. Let's just jump right in, everybody. Here's the deal right now. The House is going to vote on the Senate version of the stimulus plan next Tuesday. This is expected to pass the House, no problem, and end up on the president's desk for signature, hopefully no later than Wednesday. Even if the president signs it by Thursday, let's say it gets right down to the wire and he signs it on Friday. Here's the thing, it's not like the money goes out immediately. What happens then is that the US Treasury Secretary instructs the IRS to start sending out the money. And by the way, President Biden did announce that the stimulus checks will start going out this month. That's what he said. But here's the important thing. As far as unemployment benefits are concerned, what happens is the Labor Department, the US Labor Department, after the bill is signed into law, then issues guidance to specific states. And every state has its own struggles when it comes to implementing this new extension, if you will. So what will happen is that the Labor Department will issue guidance to the states, and then states will then have to implement the new rules. So think about it this way. The House passes the bill, the president signs it, it becomes law. Then the Labor Department issues guidance to the states, and then the states essentially add new code, add new programming changes, they codify the changes in their computer systems so that the money starts going out to the recipients. And they essentially have to introduce this code or introduce this new update into their systems, and they have to test all of these things. Some states are taking 4 to 5 weeks to do this, everyone. So what's happening is, and by the way, I'll give you a quote from the Colorado Department of Labor, just one state. After passage, our vendor will need to reprogram the system and cannot begin that work until we receive rules and regulations from the US Department of Labor. Now, keep in mind that every state is now actively working because it's passed the Senate. Everyone knows it's going to pass the House and the president will sign it. So every state, specifically the governor and state officials across the country, are now actively working. I would imagine they're working through the weekend, this weekend, to prevent a gap in benefits. But the process can take some states several weeks to get it done. I don't know if our viewers and subscribers know this, but some states, like the state of Wisconsin, still have not issued the extra $300 a week from the second major stimulus package from the December law. So they still haven't done that because they're overloaded. Now, that is I should say the bad news. The good news is that at this moment in time, I believe that the delays won't be very long. There could be a period of time for some of our viewers and subscribers where you don't get the payments for a couple of weeks, but then the following week you get that retroactive payment for that period. Let's just say, for example, the period could be the second half of March. You may not get the $300 a week in the second half of March if your state has not implemented the update from the new law. But in April, you should start get that retroactive benefit. When I say retroactive benefit, I'm talking about the period after the 14th of March, assuming there's a lag, and that lag is caused by your state being unable to actually implement, your state being unable to implement the law as quickly as you would want them to. So the rules are not changing. Still $300 a week as far as the state is concerned. So this is a good thing. So the good news is the $300 a week is simply easier for the state to program because they already have it programmed. They simply need to push the deadline back. Based on the new deadline, and the Democrats, want to pass this quickly. So this will give the states some degree of clarity, and we are sort of having more and more guidance come in right now. So what is encouraging right now is that states should be able to implement this fairly quickly, and there is going to be maybe a couple of weeks or 3 weeks of absolute chaos where the states try and extend this, but there won't be a long delay. It's going to be for some unemployed workers in some states. This is not going to be something that's going to create a major system-wide problem like we saw after the $600 a week booster. Also, not everyone is losing their benefits, everyone. Not everyone, the good news is, not everyone is losing their benefits on March 14. By the way, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would appreciate that. That would be your vote of confidence in our channel. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm. So that date is kind of like a soft cliff, if you will. It's not a hard cliff. The reason is workers who exhaust their 50-week maximum allotment, because you can get benefits for 50 weeks. So if workers exhaust their 50-week maximum allotment, they would be the ones who essentially would have been kicked off March 14th. It was a soft deadline, if you will. And if you've been collecting unemployment benefits for 50 weeks, you've been collecting it since the start of the pandemic. Now, those who have not hit 50 weeks can continue receiving funds up to the 11th of April as per the December relief law. So they have a little bit of breathing room. And by the 11th of April, the state will have sort of engineered the extension of these programs, if you will. So the delays are not expected to last longer than 4 or 5 weeks. And here's what you should do right now if you're dependent on unemployment benefits. Here's what the number one thing you should do is continue to certify for benefits. That's the number one thing you should do. So even if there's a delay in your state implementing their programming language, their programming extension, their programming update, if you will get back pay for the weeks that you were eligible for, which is what I mentioned at the start of the video. So I guess you could call it back pay as opposed to retroactive pay in the true sense of the term. And states should be issuing those funds automatically as long as workers qualify. So the bottom line is just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully your state has their act together so they don't create any delays as far as you're concerned. Keep doing what you're doing. And just keep trying. Hopefully your state is able to communicate with you, because I know there was a massive backlog, and as a result of the backlog we couldn't even get through to them. And even if you cannot certify for benefits, for some reason there's a problem with the website, you should keep track of what you're doing. Maybe take screenshots, or maybe just keep a log of what you're doing. And if there's a failed login attempt, for example, if there's an outgoing attempt to a state labor agency, just keep track of what you're doing so you can continue getting the benefits, everyone. Right now, the bottom line is that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package has passed the US Senate, and this provides a $300 a week booster on top of state unemployment benefits through the 6th of September. So this is good. This is encouraging, everyone. And at this point, the unemployment benefits that were scheduled to end on the 14th of March will now be extended through the 6th of September. And the bottom line is, there could be a gap of a few weeks, everyone. There could be a gap of a few weeks for some individuals in some states, depending on whether your state is overloaded. And this is inevitable. Some individuals will be impacted, even if President Biden signs it by Friday of next week. Why? Because again, the Labor Department has to issue that guidance to states. States then have to update their systems to continue the benefits, and some states need more time than others. And like I mentioned, some states still haven't paid out the $300 a week boost from the December relief package to all of their residents. And we're already in the month of March. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this gives you a sense of what to expect. The good news is that things are starting to get better. The states have already learned from the horrendous communication failures, the horrendous software failures, the horrendous manpower failures from last year, and now I can expect things to be smoother, but there still will be some glitches. There will be some glitches, and I want you to keep certifying, and I want you to keep documenting all your efforts. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope this was helpful. I will keep you posted as things evolve. Thank you so much. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would be your vote of confidence in me and all the work we do on this channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.